Alright, in this video, let's feed these demonic trolls for a little bit. And you may be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, not too long ago, I put up a video talking about how there's people who are really just, they're dogs, they're pigs, right? And they just want to seek your attention and get away from the truth. So when you present to them the truth, what do they try to do? I mentioned how they go after you. And it was part of the video entitled Preaching Tips, where I was talking about there is a thing you should do when you're preaching, and that is get up on that cross, hang yourself up there, and die. Because when you preach the truth, what are these demonic people going to do? They're going to come after you. And what happened when I did this? The exact thing I'm going to show you. We're going to get into a comment section on this video that's, for me, it's blown up. I'm getting a lot of attention, a lot of feedback on it. And I want to show you that that's exactly what's going on when we get into this. Where they're not addressing what I said. Right? This big check mark here. And what is my video about that they're commenting on? My video is about how I brought up the YouTube user Aaron, whose channel name is Got a Minute. And all I said was, he said a couple of times, more than a couple of times, over the past week, that if the rapture doesn't happen this past weekend that just passed, which he was calling Shavuot, then we're going to have to wait till next year. And if it doesn't happen, he's going to have to deal with his emotions and go look at Shavuot and look at new ways to present it and look at next year, right? And I brought that up and I said, all I said about it was, that shows a lack of humility because he can't admit that maybe he's wrong about the date of Shavuot or that the rapture not being on Shavuot in the first place, right? Perhaps he's wrong. Maybe about he got the wrong date for Shavuot, or maybe it's at the Feast of New Wine, the Feast of New Oil, the Feast of Trumpets, or maybe it could be any day. Maybe it could be right now while you're watching the video, right? I don't know. You don't know. We can speculate, and we should watch. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, to watch. Don't sit here and go, oh no, we got to wait till next year, right? That's all I said. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say anything evil. All I said is, hey, Aaron needs to look at other dates this year because this year looks like it's the year. And I want to encourage you to keep looking too, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Is there? What evil is there from what I just said? Anything? I don't see anything wrong that I have said or done in this, right? I may have gone into a little detail saying what could be the motivations behind this. And I was like, well, it could be, some ego where you're like, no, I put so much into the work into this that this has to be right. I mean, everything looks like it's here, right? And if it doesn't happen this year, then it has to be next year because it can't be a different feast. It has to be this one because I put so much work and it looks like it's this one. It has to be it. It just has to be. Well, this shows that revelation is greater than works. Yeah, he put a lot of work into it, and we've learned a lot from what he has gone into. No doubt about it. But that doesn't mean he's infallible and that he's right and that he can't be wrong on this. Right? Sometimes we put a whole lot of work into something and it's fruitless. There's nothing to it. Like trying to reach certain people. Like I was talking about these dogs and pigs. You try talking to them, they don't care. And remember what I was saying in that video about preaching tips? They're going to come after you. And like I said, they don't address this. They don't address what I said. And they don't say anything about Aaron saying this. They ignore what I said. They don't say, hey, it is Shavuot, you need to accept it, and if it's not this year, it's next year. They don't even talk about the subject. They don't say, hey, yeah, maybe we should look at these other feasts. Nothing about that. They just start attacking me, not the issue. They'll start talking about me and trying to get me to focus on me and defend myself, right? And I got these comments to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because the issue is, Aaron needs to look at other dates. And I even said, maybe right now he has a video up where he's talking about, I'm looking at other dates this year. Then that is awesome. My video means nothing now. It's just water under the bridge, right? Okay, now he's looking at other days this year. Cool, let's do it. Let's move on, right? He obviously changed his mind. He repented. It's not even a big deal. Let's go on. But all of a sudden, I have these two circled together here where they say, I'm attacking, I'm slandering, I'm even ruthless. And I was like, wow, these people are very soft. I'm like, hey, you lack some humility if you're going to wait till next year. If you don't think that you could be wrong and maybe it's a different day this year, you lack humility. Oh, you're attacking him. You're slandering his character. You're ruthless. It's like, wow, that's ruthless? Wow. Because I've had some people say some things to me. I've heard people say other things to other people that are really harsh things. Very mean things. And this, they're taking as some huge attack. And it's like, seriously? This is an attack? This is slander? This is ruthless? What? Are you kidding me? I'm dumbfounded by it. And I'm like, are these bots? Are these even real people? Are these real Christians saying this? That this is ruthless attacking and slander? And the reason why I have these two together, because it's kind of funny. They'll also say that I am self-righteous and in no place, and I have the hammer dropping here, I'm in no place to judge. And I'm like, wait a second here. Okay, because I said, hey, I think he's lacking some humility if he doesn't look at other days. You know, he got some, maybe it's like just this attachment to where he has to be right? His ego is getting in the way here or something, right? That makes me self-righteous? How does that make me self-righteous? I don't understand that. And how am I in no place to judge? But the funny thing is about these two right here in the middle that I have joined together here. The people are doing the exact same thing to me. They're attacking me, slandering me, and they have no care about me whatsoever. To them, I am nothing, right? And then they're saying I'm self-righteous, and I am in no place to judge, but okay, so they're in a place to judge me, though? I'm in no place to judge my fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, but they are. They can do it. I can't. They can. But I'm the self-righteous one. When I'm doing the same thing they're doing. And they're doing the same thing I'm doing. It sounds like narcissism, right? Because that's how narcissists are. I can do it, but you can't. No, we can all do it. And if you got a problem with me doing it, then you need to stop doing it. Right? And then it ties into this last one. When we go through these comments here, a lot of them saying I'm doing it for attention. I didn't realize I was going to get so much attention for it. Like, how could I predict such a thing? Right? I think it's actually strange. I think it's kind of a blessing, a little gift to actually get some attention for it. But that's another thing, is that they're saying you're doing it for attention, yet they're watching my video, putting comments, giving me the attention, supporting the video and my channel by doing so. Yet they say that's why I'm doing it. And it's like, well then, why are you giving me what you claim I want? If I'm doing this for attention, to get the views and to get the comments going, all this stuff, why are you then giving me what I want if what I want here is something wrong and evil and what have you? Right? Like these people, if I thought all they wanted was my attention, I'd just ignore them. And generally that's what I would do. But I want to use this as a teaching lesson because I just made that video about preaching tips, about that's what they're going to do. When you shine light, you shine the truth. What do the people do? What do? They attack you, not the light, you, to try to get you to focus on you and not the light. Keep in mind here what the message really is. The message is we should look at other days this year for the rapture. None of these people that I'm going to bring up mention this. All right? They just go on about me being some kind of prick of some kind, right? And before I get into these comments, there's something I want to bring up. Something I also brought up in a video recently. What was the video called? Something about hard-heartedness, a hard-hearted response or something like that. And I mentioned a story where on MeWe, which is an app like Facebook, like a Facebook alternative. And on there, I was in Catholic forums, and I talked to 5 Catholic priests. And this pertains to this story because this is going to actually be something Aaron needs to address when we look at these comments, right? He needs to rebuke these people. Because when I was talking to these Catholic priests, we were in forums, of Catholic forums with obviously other Catholics around. And I was talking to these Catholics, and they would say, oh, talk to the priest. You know, and these different times, I ended up talking to 5 different priests in different occasions. And the priest, they usually start off by trying to establish that they're a priest in the Christian church, and they have authority, and that basically I need to just accept what they say without question, right? And that's generally how the conversations start. So I would address that, no, we rely on the scriptures. The scriptures are the inspired word of God. That is the standard, right? And if you start preaching against that, I'm going to listen to the word of God over you. So then the priest's argument would generally be something along the lines of, well, how do you know the canon? You have the canon because we gave it to you. And then I would simply tell them, because of Moses. God told Moses to write those those first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That's the Torah. Right? That's our foundation. That's the seed of the Word of God with all that information packed in there. And he told Moses to write that if anybody comes along saying they're of him, speaking for God, and they contradict what he has to say, they add or remove from the commandments, right, from the doctrine, that you know that the person's not of God. Not only that, you should stone them to death. Right? We don't go stoning people to death today. We'll let God handle that kind of thing. Right? We give people chances to repent. Even if it takes them their whole life and they live to 120 years old, you let them live it out and hopefully they repent before they go. Right? And then I was saying, well, that's how you know the Old Testament is true and the correct canon because it lines up with Moses. And that's why one of the reasons why we don't use the Old Testament Apocrypha, because it doesn't line up with Moses. And that's how we know the New Testament is of God, because Jesus and the New Testament lines up with what Moses told us about the one who would come after him, whom we should follow. He was writing about Jesus, just like Jesus says, Moses wrote of me. Saying if you believed Moses, you would have believed me. Right? So I firmly established that we know the canon based on Moses. Right? At first you start with faith in Moses, that God actually talked to Moses and told him to write the Torah. Now your standard is the Word of God, what is written, the Scriptures. And then guess how these Catholic priests reacted? They would tell the other Catholics in the forum to block me, and then these Catholic priests then blocked me. That was the end of all those conversations. 5 different times. And on top of this, there'd be times where I was talking to these Catholic priests while we're discussing this about the Catholics and how they're reacting. Because the other Catholics in the chat, what would they be doing? They would be provoking me, taunting me, mocking me, calling me names, scoffing, basically acting like a bunch of demons, laughing, snipping hyenas. And I would point out to the priest of the Catholic Church there, why don't you rebuke these Catholics for treating me like this? How come they're acting like this and you don't say a thing about it? You think this is an acceptable way for them to be acting? Being Catholics? And even after pointing it out, they didn't say a thing. So what's the point of this? What does this have to do with Aaron? Well, a lot of these people are fighting for Aaron and for his honor, right? So, if that's the case, Aaron should say something. Be like, hey, if you're following me, you shouldn't be treating other people like that. That's not a proper way to respond to people, right? He should rebuke them because silence is consent. When those Catholic priests didn't say anything about how these Catholics were treating me, they consented to it. And then when pointing it out, they didn't rebuke it. They consented to it. So if Aaron gets wind of this and sees this and how these people are responding on his behalf, not saying that he sent them and that he's encouraged them to do it, but once he realizes they're doing it on his behalf, he needs to say something about it. Just like if there were some of you going to his channel or to somebody else's channel in my name, fighting for me, and you are being very rude and disrespectful, I would say, hey, don't do that. These people don't represent me. I did not send these people to do that. It is wrong what they're doing. Right? And I expect him to do the same thing if he ever gets wind of this. So, with that being said, let's come over here. And this is the video entitled God a Minute. And over to the side here, I have a comment pinned up at the top there because I thought it was a good one. But let's start here with the one underneath it. I hope the comments are actually large enough. This is a good one to start with. This fella here says, if Christians didn't pick on each other ruthlessly like this, I would be shocked. And I was like, ruthless? All I said was, hey, he lacks humility if he won't look at another day. Ruthless. Right? Like, what? This is an exaggeration, no doubt about it. Right? Yeah, like, wow. The worst kind of bully is one who justifies it with religion behind a smiling face and with a backhanded compliment. Wow. I'm a bully because I said, hey, let's look at other days this year for the possible rapture. If you're not willing to do so, you're going to wait till next year. You lack some humility to admit that you could be wrong on this. And now I'm bullying Aaron. All right. He says, look in the mirror. Okay. You'll see a log in your eye. Okay. Okay, show me. Where am I lacking humility? I'm open to it. I know I'm not perfect, so where is this log? You've speculated about dates. Also, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with people doing that. I didn't say there was. I never said there was anything wrong with doing that. Right? So to imply that I did would be a lie, a false accusation. Following evidence and being firm in your convictions is not arrogance or a lack of humility, it's confidence. If you're not willing to admit that possibly you could be wrong, that's not confidence anymore, right? If, like in this situation, there's a lot of evidence that points to the rapture being this year. And if you thought, hey, it's had to be at Shavuot at this time, but it's not, yeah, you may be confident that it was Shavuot, but it passed. So if you're saying, oh no, we have to wait till next year, yeah, Okay, you're confident, but you're lacking some humility there. That you could possibly be wrong. There's a good chance that he is. The imminent judgment will be much worse for brothers who ridicule brothers and do it with a self-righteous, sanctimonious attitude like you've shown. So I'm self-righteous and sanctimonious in attitude, right? So my judgment's going to be much worse for me. Yet, do you not see how he's doing the same thing, right? He's judging me in this way that he claims I am being towards Aaron. Those of us who truly know are no longer fooled by a display of false humility, like what we see demonstrated by you in this video. I didn't know I made a demonstration of humility in this video. What exactly is a demonstration of humility or false humility? I don't get how I did that. I'm not sure what he means, to be honest. I guess it's just, another distraction. Focus on me. Be like, yeah, I'm humble. No, that's not true, right? I know I'm not actually humble, right? For two things. One, if I said I was humble, that would prove that I'm not humble, right? And I know there's a lot of things that I would say, oh yeah, I'm confident in these things, just like he's saying about Aaron. But I think there's some ego to some of those things, right? I'm not perfect there, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't call out somebody else's flaws, right? Just like this person's calling out what he's saying is my flaws. There's nothing wrong with doing that, right? If you're giving a righteous judgment and you're really calling out something wrong about me, there's nothing wrong about that, right? There's something I need to work on. Pray for me, right? But I can do the same thing. I can look at other people's flaws and point them out. It's just what these people want to do is get the focus off of the truth that I'm presenting about Aaron and get it about me and get me talking about me. And you can say they're doing that by this video, and you would be right that I'm actually doing that. I'm buying into it and I'm focusing on me like they want, right? Defending myself. And this is one of those biting the bullet kind of things. I'm doing this to show you, look at how these demonic people are acting. It's about me. Why? Why are we not talking about how we should be looking at other dates? That's the topic. Let's look at other dates for the rapture this year. Instead, I'm a piece of shit. And since I said the word shit, now it's even worse. Now I'm going to get even more feedback, right? I'm so much worse now. Now I'm obviously not of God, because anybody of God would not use the word shit. They would have said crap or something like poop or something, right? So I put that out there just to give them something to chew on there, or something to get mad about, right? Just to see how they're going to bite on all that. He says, quoting Bible verses or using the name of Jesus in your defense no longer works. It's all fake and we know it. This is not how you follow Christ, and the world is coming to clear realization that Christianity is not the same as following Christ. Not even close. People like you hiding behind a screen name who don't divulge your identity, spewing venom anonymously, fool no one but yourselves, and you should be ashamed. Maybe you are the real shill. Now, that's the thing. My channel name here, as you can see, is my actual name, right? I'm not divulging my identity. I'm JD Morin. It's French, so it's Morin. Just like the Spaniards, Morin, that's how they'll say it. Kind of like, you got the Army, Navy, Marines. It's kind of like that. But since, I'm American, so I say Morin. Right? And I have no problem saying it either way, or however you want to say it. Most people say moron, so I just kind of go with that, I'm JD Moron apparently. So I guess he would be correct, I misspelled it in there. give the trolls some ammunition to use there, right? So I'm not hiding my identity, and I do have videos where I got my beautiful mug in there so you can see my face. You can also add me, on a Facebook or MeWe under the same name. I'm not hiding. Aaron is using a different name, right? He's using a channel called God a Minute, right? So, yeah. And then he's saying that I'm the real shill. I never called Aaron a shill, but I don't get how I'm a shill. I'm like, hey guys, let's look at some other days for a possible rapture this year. Don't just wait till next year. That makes me a shill? Right? I don't understand what makes me a shill. I haven't even said to stop listening to this guy. Right? Nothing like that. I'm expecting this guy to actually start looking at other days this year. That's what I'm expecting. And all of this is just meaningless. Right? But since I got all this attention, I figured, hey, let's see these demons that call themselves Christians. So I give a short response and then check out what he has to say again. Because I'm like, it was ruthless. All I said is, hey, he needs to look at other dates this year. If he doesn't, that's lacks humility there. Ruthless. I'm just dumbfounded by that. Because I just, remembered the days of not being a Christian and actually being ruthless in things that I have said and done, right? Just growing up in a military family and being part of the military and thinking of ruthless things. And then this guy saying that this is ruthless, I just get a kick out of it. But anyway, let's look at to show you. He just doubles down on it. He says, yes, it is ruthless. But what he's saying about me is not ruthless. He said it's void of love, critical, slanderous, and unnecessary. How is his comments not the same then? How are his not ruthless, void of love, critical, slanderous, and unnecessary? Right? Can you see the hypocrisy here? If I'm calling Aaron out saying, hey, let's look at other days, and I'm being ruthless, void of love, critical, slanderous, and unnecessary, but then doing this to me, it's completely fine, right? I didn't even say anything harsh, right? But look at what they're saying. I know this is one guy, but we're going to see some others. He says, now, check this out. No different than how the Pharisees treated Jesus. Holy cow. Now I'm a Pharisee and Aaron is Jesus, and I guess I'm bringing him to the Romans to be killed now or something, right? And it's a spirit all throughout Christianity. You all just do it with a soft tone and justify your bullying like you justify just about everything else. Well, how are you not justifying him just saying, let's wait till next year? That's what you're doing, right? You're saying, no, we should just wait till next year for Shavuot. Let's not look at any other days. Suck it up. Right? And he says, I don't follow anyone. I just came across your video and saw a clear, self-righteous spirit used against your brother. It is not your place to evaluate him as lacking humility publicly. As Jesus told you, if thy brother offend thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Christians do this all the time and create horrible division within the body. That's why there are nearly 40,000 denominational schisms in the church. You don't obey, like I said. You do what you want and justify it. My advice, stop it. Yet, I don't know about you, but wouldn't you see this as being more divisive than what I said? Because what I'm saying is just like, hey, Aaron, let's look at other days. You being stuck on this one day, wait until next year, is lacking humility. I'm talking to him as a brother, right? He can say no. He can say yes. That's that, right? How were we divided? Right? Just like he was with Barry Aw, and they did a video together where Barry was saying, yeah, we're still brothers, we're still Christians. I just believe it's the Feast of New Wine. He believes it's Shavuot. And you're like, yeah, we disagree, but we're still, together. Then why can't I be the same way? But talking to me like this is something where it's like, I don't want to be around this guy. Right? I can't speak my mind. I can't disagree, or else I'm a POS. Right? Right? And not to mention, you act as though I can just go talk to Aaron and he's going to hear me out. I've sent messages to him, to Barry Aw, to Barber, and I haven't gotten any responses. Right? And I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset about it. It's just, I figure they're busy. Right? And they're not going to respond to everybody. I just happen to be one of the ones they don't respond to. Probably because I might be calling out something they don't want to talk about. Right? And this is why there's 40,000 denominations. I mean, really, because I say, hey, let's look at other dates. Let's not just wait till next year. This is why people get divided. And now there's another denomination. I just created another one. Did you know that? I just created another denomination. Let's make it 50,000 denominations now. All because of me saying, hey, let's look at other dates this year. All my fault. Sorry, guys. My bad. Right? I mean, talk about the exaggeration. Right? This is what I was saying, that they get you to focus on you and instead of the actual message. That's why I keep bringing the message back into it. Let's look at other days. Let's look at other days. Right? Keep reminding you about what the true message is that we're not going to talk about throughout this video unless I keep bringing it up. These people aren't going to bring it up. Right? And what they'll do is they will project themselves onto you, right? Because this person's judging me and condemning me and basically cutting me off from everybody else. Like I'm the one not being Christian and he is. But he's doing the same thing I'm doing, but he's going about things a lot harsher than I am. Right? In my opinion, I don't know if you agree or not. And it's okay for him to do it, but not for me. Right? There's some narcissism going on there. And putting himself above me and I'm down low, and that's exactly what he's doing because he can do it and I can't. He can judge me, but I can't judge anybody. Right? So that means he's above me and I'm down in the dirt somewhere under his feet, right? He's not directly saying that, but that's basically what he's saying. How come he can sit in judgment of me, but I can't sit there and say that Aaron would lack humility if he's just going to be stubborn and wait till next year? Matter of fact, he probably isn't going to be stubborn. I'm calling him out for saying those things and, hey, don't actually do that. And I think he has already repented. And that if he hasn't, he will very soon. And he's going to look at stuff like new wine. Or at least he's going to go to the Feast of Trumpets. Right? But I don't know. If he doesn't, then yeah, I think he's being stubborn and hard-hearted. And that is because of a lack of humility. That's because of a pride, of ego. Right? And if, I'm attacking your favorite preacher here, so what? Do you think that he's infallible? That it's okay for him to be like that? You think that's an acceptable attitude to have and to encourage other people to just suck it up? You got to wait till next year? How is that encouraging? I'm the one sitting here saying, hey, let's look at other dates. Don't get discouraged. But people are acting like it's flipped. And that's exactly what these demonic people will do. They flip the script and make it as though you're the one doing what they're doing, right? And they'll start using ad hominem attacks, straw man arguments, kind of like you're the shill, acting as though I called him a shill, right? And they start exaggerating things, like it's ruthless, right? They exaggerate and they twist things you say and turn it upside down. And it's just a big smokescreen. So now the focus is all about me and not about the actual issue, right? Now, that one is one I really wanted to focus on. So that's why I was on that one. The other ones I'll go by a little quicker. This one I thought was a bit funny. This guy's here. We'll read the first paragraph here. He says, "You do realize that Aaron said, 'I am not here to set dates, only to take what is written and see if we can uncover truths.' He has made it very clear he thinks the rapture is this year." Yes, he says he believes it's this year, and he also set a date for this past weekend, saying that's Shavuot, and even tried to close down the very hour. So yes, he did set dates. I'm not saying what he did was wrong. I never even called out saying setting a date and looking for a date is actually even wrong, right? I never say that no one knows the day or the hour. That has to do with the day Jesus returns. That doesn't have to do with the rapture. You read Revelation chapter 3, and the first church talked about there, Sardis, is told that if they don't watch, they won't know the hour he will come upon them. So I was all in agreement with him even looking at the hour. If he was right, then yes, look at the hour. The midnight hour, the third watch. Yeah, okay. I'm in agreement with that. But I'm also thinking that if it doesn't happen, you need to be like, perhaps I'm wrong. And I need to take a new look at this. Kind of like Rock Island Books. For years he was saying 2024. I think even before 2020 he was saying 2024. So for quite a while he was pointing to 2024. And then he just took a break and was like, yeah, I was off. And then he just kind of basically started preaching the gospel. And then he came across some new revelation that was very interesting stuff that potentially points to 2025. Some cool stuff there. And yeah. Right, so he went back to the drawing board, admitted that he was wrong. And, you know, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you got to eat the humble pie, you eat the crow. Right? But, yeah. Aaron did say he believes it's this year. But he also said, I'm not lying, you can go look at the videos before this date here. This is Monday, June 9th. Sunday night, I think he just made a video that I haven't checked out. So before Sunday night's video, which would be June 8th, before that, you can look at his videos talking about if it's not this Shavuot, then I think it's next year. We're going to have to wait next year. It'd be a bummer. I know we'd all have to deal with our emotions, but then we'll have to suck it up. He said those things. I'm not lying. Yes, he also said it's this year. Okay. Well, hopefully he will look at other dates. Thank you for bearing with me, rambling on with this video. But I just thought this stuff was interesting, how the people reacted. This one is funny. Seems that you've taken an emotional hit with the passing of Shavuot. If this is truly the correct date in the hyped rapture, those mature in the faith understand that Aaron is a watchman, letting people know of the times approaching. We all get hyped during the feast of the Lord, hoping it is the time. Then we get a little bummed out when nothing happens. My advice is to take a deep breath and not get frustrated. Instead, take up the challenge and let people know what you may be in the time. You asked us to pray for you, which I will do. Be patient, as it will come at the perfect moment. Now, I made this video before Shavuot even ended, and I even believe that this past weekend wasn't even Shavuot, right? So I wasn't bummed out. I was actually kind of hoping I was wrong, but I didn't. We all don't think we're wrong, so I was actually thinking this time was going to pass, right? And that's the thing, is I've always been looking at Shavuot as the most likely rapture time, but as soon as it was coming up, something just was pulling me towards the Feast of New Wine. And if anybody watched my videos, you'd know that's what I've been saying. And I was like, I always look at Shavuot, but for some reason, I'm looking past it at the Feast of New Wine. And there's just something that's just drawing me there. And still is. And so I think that has something to do with it. So, I wasn't bummed out. No, I'll be bummed out if it's not today. I'll be bummed out if it's not tomorrow. And, if I'm still here, at the end of this video, I'm going to be bummed out. But it's, this just seems more like, mocking, in my opinion. I take a deep breath and everything, and it's like, all I said is, hey, let's look at other dates. Let's not just wait till next year, right? But see how these people who are defending him aren't actually addressing the thing that I actually talked about in the video. Some of these people, they just have some weird comments. I'm trying to skip over these. I'm not going to show the ones where people are really saying things about him. This one's interesting. Let me just say that you are completely wrong about Aaron in so many ways. Okay. This is just a blanket statement. Be like, okay, well, name one way I'm wrong about him. What are you talking about? The only thing I said about him was, hey, he would lack humility if he doesn't look at other days. Nothing else really I said about him other than that. So what are all these ways? But you see, this is just the silliness. Some people, they just got to put their comment in. I'm just going to leave that one there if you want to read it. And it's like, you didn't hear pride in his presentation. That's the one thing. I didn't say he had pride or was prideful in his presentation, right? It's like, if he's not willing to look at other days, then he lacks some humility to admit that he's wrong. Let's go through this here. This person says, I'm pretty sure he said yesterday he can't imagine it being next year. He has been hyper-fixated on Shavuot, but if I remember right, he said he can't imagine it being next year with everything on it. And I think I said, that's great news. And if I didn't, then I'm saying it now. That's fantastic. And I said there, he could have changed his mind, but I listened to him say a few times it is next year if it wasn't this weekend. And he said, yeah, he said that before the time frame, he believes it was up, but after it passed, he said this has a hard time believing it would be another year. And I just said, good to hear, right? So like I said, he's probably going to actually look at other times. But a lot of people, you can't even, like, I barely said anything at all about him being wrong, right? I'm just saying, let's entertain the idea that he could be wrong, and some of these people act like I am throwing rocks at him, like I'm condemning him to hell or something, right? Let's go here. Oh yeah, here's one. This person's a little weird. This person says, make your own videos and stop using Aaron's name and the name of his channel to give you views. And I was like, how many videos do I have up and how many of them have Aaron's name in them? Stop with the silly false accusations. And then they point out the fact that my other videos don't have a lot of views. This one has 2K, well, yeah, it says 2,550 now. That is crazy. For me, that's a lot of views. Not gonna lie. But like I told her, I have done nothing wrong, right? Aaron won't listen to me, so I'll talk to his followers. And I don't understand how I could possibly know I would get this much attention. And if you got a problem with me having this attention, why are you commenting? And then this person here put that she or he is 100% right. And then again with this, you are not a nice person. Okay, I can accept that. I never claimed to be nice, right? And I'm okay with being the bad guy. I don't mind being the bad guy. I really don't. I'll call out everybody's bullshit. And if that makes me mean and nobody likes me, I don't care. My God, Jesus Christ loves me, right? And that's all I need. I don't need any of you. It'd be nice to have you on my side here, but don't need it. I got Jesus. If you want to do your own study and research and make videos, go for it, but don't diss a child of God by attacking Aaron's humility. Wow. According to your opinion. I have the right to my opinion. If I think he's lacking humility, I have all the right to say something about it. You can't tell me not to speak. You're basically telling me to shut up. No. I'm not gonna. Check your character. Okay. Why disprove and belittle him? Why disprove? Well, if he's wrong, shouldn't I disprove it? And how did I disprove him? I don't recall disproving anything he said. Other than he believed Shavuot this weekend, that didn't happen, but I didn't say it wouldn't happen. And belittle him? What are you talking about? Saying, hey man, you might be lacking some humility if you can't admit that you're wrong and it's this year, just a different day. I'm belittling him? That's just ridiculous. Keep your focus on Jesus and leave our watchmen alone. You're exposing your own character. Wow. I'm a very bad character by saying, let's be watchmen and watch for another day this year. And telling the watchmen to keep watching. But that's a horrible character, the wrong thing to do. My bad. I'm sorry, everybody. I guess I just shut up and we all keep quiet now and wait till next Shavuot. Stop watching until next year, guys. I don't want to be a bad character, right? Just messed up. This person's saying he's more humble than you think. I say, okay, yeah. But that doesn't mean that if he won't look at another date this year and he's just going to wait till next year, that is a lack of humility. It doesn't matter if he's humble in other things. In that area, he's lacking it. Right? That's a point I made a video about right there. No one should be disappointed by a guy who jumps around with a ironing board on his back. And he has a point there. We're told to be grave or to be serious. And he's not a very serious guy at times. I like watching his videos, but a lot of times when I listen to him, it bothers me because he talks as though he's a child. But he's like 40 years old. But the way he talks with his voice, he talks as if he's like a 10-year-old or something. It's weird. It's off-putting. But whatever. I mean, if he's preaching the truth and he wants to do it with a pretend squeaky voice or one of his accents that he likes, I don't care. I don't like it. But all right, get the truth out. Do it your own way. Right? Brother Aaron is just like you. We all fall short of, I'm sure that's a typo, of the glory of God. No one is going to heaven by guessing the rapture date. Thank God that Jesus Christ loves us so much, even when we don't deserve it. So let's encourage one another. I don't see how I'm not encouraging anybody. I'm encouraging Aaron to have some humble pie and look at other dates this year. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. Not saying he's saying I'm not doing it, but yeah, this one, mocking, but it's a good idea. Read Corinthians 13, right? Please read it. Yes, we should read that, no doubt. But obviously they're saying I'm lacking love. These people don't even know what love is. This person's just saying that Aaron is a good guy, and it's kind of just like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that this is not an issue, right? This one's funny. Let's not judge each other. Why? So, if I were to take your wife, better not say anything. Nobody better call me out on it. Don't judge me. Or your wife, right? I mean, where do you draw the line on where we shouldn't judge each other? Right? A lot of times people say don't judge each other when they want you to shut up about what you're bringing to the light. Right? We all disagree with each other. We're all open to going home as soon as possible. Peace, brother. See you soon. Yeah, there's one Kilroy911 keeps leaving comments about him being an angel. I'm just leaving him there, not responding. No, I'm not gonna talk about that. This is a good one. Bro Aaron has softened a little, I think. He, like all of us, sees 2025 as too significant to stop watching. 2025 still looks perfect to me. That's good to hear, right? Which makes a lot of these people who are making a big deal look kind of mad, if you ask me. Discernment. We must use discernment. You discern pride in Aaron. I don't. Well, maybe that's because you lack discernment. And he never said this is definitely the day and hour of the rapture. Well, he definitely said the Shavuot is the day. Right? And he said, if it's not this year, then next year. Right? This person even admits here, if he stopped looking for the next possible date, then we must ask if pride been a factor in his life. That's exactly my point. So you agree with me. This one, oh, that one's long. We're not going to go over that. But he's like, attacking his humility. I mean, calling out that, hey, if you don't look at other days, you're lacking humility is an attack. I mean, you can't say anything to a Christian without it being an attack. It's ridiculous, right? It's not just like a, hey, let's look at other days. It would really show a lot of pride if you were too stubborn to look at other days. You're attacking. Get out of here with your nonsense. I mean, seriously. Well, this person's just talking about if we get the day wrong, it doesn't matter. And it was like, no one's saying about getting the day wrong. It's talking about being stubborn to not look at any other day, to think you got it figured out. You got the day figured out. You just got to find the year. Well, maybe you got the year right and the day wrong. Right? But you see, a lot of these people, they don't actually address the actual topic. But I think I made the point. All right, awesome. We're at the end. As you can see, there's a lot of people who agree with me as well. But I just wanted to show the some there that are... obviously, there's some kind of demonic thing going on. And I'm not blaming Aaron for it or saying that he sent them or he encouraged this kind of behavior. Right? If I found out he did, that's something, right? That's something to be worried about. I'm saying that these people who are following him and look up to him, obviously, and are defending him, are doing so in an irrational, unreasonable way. Right? If you want to defend him, if I were to defend him, be like, you know what? You're right. If he doesn't look at other days, there's some pride going on there. But I think he's going to look at other days this year. I think he will. I'm going to be like, yeah, Okay, I can't argue with that, because I think the same thing. But if he doesn't, all I'm saying is if he doesn't, there is a problem. And it seems like a lot of people like drama like this. All these Christians act like demons. I don't mean to say all Christians do. I'm saying all these ones that do. Right? It's crazy. Probably won't post this video. But anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching. Take care.